Hello, everybody. Thank you for clicking on. Hi, Herb Peddler. How are you? It is the American Doofus channel, and this is Late Night in America. Hi, Donna. We're scheduled to have Freedom Ninja on coming up in a little bit. Hi, Darla. Hello, everybody out there watching. And feel free to hop into the chat. And, if somebody says something in chat you don't like, simply block them. You have the power to do that. So, um, with that being said, let's uh, let's get to it. And I want to begin by saying this: the American Doofus channel, don't be a doofus, is a news reporting platform covered under copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act from 1976. Allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, or research. Opinions of guests are not necessarily those of the show, its viewers, hosts, or advertisers, if applicable. And also, um, I want to say again, thanks for watching. And if you want to contact me, americandufus at gmail.com. If you want to support the channel, Cashapp is $ American Doofus. And latest novel, just Google America, Land of the Greed, Home of the Grave. It's about rich people trying to take over the government. And it was written in 2016. Also, A Second Coming of Christ, Yellowstone, which there's a link down in the description, and that's from Barnes and Noble. And then The Final 10 Days, I think it's also on Barnes and Noble. So, with all of that being said, I've got a couple of comments I want to address. And first of all, Mickey, Ashley Babbitt's mom, was in the comments, was love to comment, and thank you for watching. And again, I'd like to have you on the show. I'd like to have a conversation. And a lot of time, well, and it kind of leads into this next email I got, actually, calling it a leftist Chinese communist show. Most of the people that come on, and that email was not from Mickey. Okay, I'm just saying that Mickey, um, my invitation to the show, before you say no, most of the people that do come on here and talk are conservative, at least, and a lot of them are very far right wing. Um, and none of them have ever been treated anything other than fairly. I say most, okay, not all, but most of the people that come on here, especially lately, are are normally pretty right wing. So, Mickey, the invitation's open. The email, and I'd like to have a conversation, because I think you view, and not just you, but I think a lot of people view um, anybody that they think doesn't think like them or believe like them or look like them or act like them is automatically an enemy. And that has gradually happened over the years, to where a lot of people view anybody that is opposite of them in any way, shape, or form as an enemy. And we're not enemies. We're all in this same country together. Um, and while I'm at it, there are those that are ready to go to war. Um, a Telescope, in the interview with Telescope a few nights back, he said, the time he spent with some of these people, that they're ready to go to war. But you haven't thought it through. if you're in that camp, so to speak, if you think I'm ready to go to war, you haven't thought it through. You think you're going to go to war with like Anarchy Princess and Defender Vance and people like that. You think it's, you're going to you're going to go out and kill all the liberals and all the rhinos and all the, it may start that way, but you're going to be fighting the U.S. military. And you haven't thought it through. And as soon as that happens, the entire country is going to be placed on martial law. We're going to be under martial law where the federal government controls everything. And you have absolutely no freedom. So why not think about just going home and enjoying your freedoms and hope that God or Mother Nature or aliens or something else doesn't screw up our country? It's just something to think about. Okay. Let's get started with what's going on breaking news wise. Did I get okay, no, I haven't even started yet. All right. Hello everybody. Thank you for being here. Hi Jennifer, hi Andrew, Red Squirrel, Tupelo, Cunning Stunt, Shizzle, and all the gun owning Americans. There are a lot of gun. Hi, Lisa Hurley. There are a lot of gun owning Americans, Shizzle. Let's get into what's going on as far as mainstream media says things that are important. Senate advances a funding bill after Manchin punts his energy plan. McConnell and Schumer back a bill to prevent efforts to subvert election results. Newest addition to Trump's legal team has been sidelined in Mar-a-Lago. January 6th panel postponed its latest hearings because of Hurricane Ian. Nord Stream pipeline hit by suspicious links. I'm going to hold off to that. I'm going to come back to that. Ian's now a major Category 3 hurricane, growing stronger in the Gulf of Mexico. We're going to take a look at a couple of things about Ian in just a couple of minutes. I'm just going to pull this up and hope it doesn't go to, it did. Did it go to a different page or no? Good. I wanted to show this headline in its entirety. When I say we need to really think about trying to stay together as a country as much as we possibly can because of other threats. One of them is Russia says it has, quote, a right to use nuclear weapons. They've been, and the thing about this is we've heard this so many times, the blustering that, but now it may be different because they're trying to conscript people. They're basically grabbing people and throwing them in buses and putting them in the army, as we've seen in some cases. And they're trying to put 1 million people together with a bunch of them are young people that don't want to be there and don't believe in what's going on, and quite frankly, older people that have already served and seen more than enough. So morale is going to be horrible. And at some point, Putin's going to do something. It's like the boy who cried wolf. We hear over and over, oh, we're going to nuke you, we're going to nuke you, we're going to nuke you. And it gets to the point where you go, and when I first saw this, I went, of course, yeah, you're going to. And then it was like, at one of these times, they're going to nuke us, or they're going to nuke something important to us and see how we react. And we've already said, in case you haven't heard, we've already said that the reaction will be catastrophic. So let's try to talk to each other more. Um, you know, um, and that's what we're going to do in just a couple of minutes here. Freedom Ninja is going to join us, and we're going to talk to each other more. But hurricane is coming. In case you haven't heard, major hurricane, and it's going to be hitting about 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. It's already spawned tornadoes over the in the outer bands, and as it pushes farther north and to the east, the outer bands are going to be moving up north and to the east. So even though you may not be directly in the path of the tornado in Florida, you could be find yourself in the path of the hurricane in Florida. You could find yourself in the path of tornadoes. So just something else to think about. Cuba is completely out of power. The entire nation. There's no electricity anywhere in the entire island country. And this is just a quick look at what was happening down there earlier. It has since passed. Here's some of the remnants. And again, showing the blast. And finally, U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris will visit the demilitarized zone separating the Koreans in a bid to show Washington's commitment to the South's security, according to U.S. and South Korean officials. This is another one of those things that, we've got enough threats from the outside that we don't need to present a threat in any way, shape, or form in the inside, in my opinion. Sending Kamala Harris is going to show the commitment to the security of the South. I don't know how that does that. She's not going to be there at the DMZ with an M16 or a sword or a rocket launcher or anything. I mean, I guess it's like, to me, it's not really a show of it. It's like bait almost. It's like, okay, we're going to send the vice president here to prove how secure it is, and if it's really not secure, show us. I don't know. That's probably the cynic in me, but I don't understand a lot of things that Washington D.C. does, as those of you that watch the program know. We got just a couple of more quick things to get to here real quick, and then we're going to get Freedom Ninja up. I'm going to skip those. I'm going to go to this real quick. Thank you all for watching. Hang in there. This is a patch that is the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, and it's got a UFO in it. This comes from Dutch Niece, and I saw it a few days ago, and when I first saw it, I thought, that's not real, but it has been up on the government websites, and it's curious as to why it would be there. Now, I want to run ahead here just a couple of, I think it was like 36. Yeah, right in here. There we go. That's close enough. As you can see, the whole of California shifts in a day. Now, what does that mean? Great ads. Okay. I'll tell you what. Um, I'm going to skip that to basically a whole line of earthquakes happened along California, small earthquakes, but lined up almost along the entire coast. And it shifts the plate just a little bit. And that potentially leads to bigger earthquakes, which we're not used to happening inside the country. And he said, don't be surprised if there wasn't something in Colorado, um, followed by something near southern Indiana, southern Illinois, Missouri, um, Kentucky, Tennessee, along that hook that we've shown. Okay, hold on just a second. Let me jump back over there because that commercial's over. Because there we go. You can see what I'm talking about. All these earthquakes, and so he's predicting that energy is going to go that way and then this way, and let me play it for just a second here and see if he. Okay, and here we go. So somewhere around here, because there's been one there, and then he kind of goes like equal distance. So he's saying somewhere about here. These happened today. This happened here, so that's why he's saying somewhere up here in the Indiana. This is Indiana, Illinois, right there, Missouri, Kentucky, Tennessee, Arkansas. So somewhere in this little hook, and then followed by somewhere over here heading into the Appalachians. So some odd things going on Earth, not just a major hurricane following the biggest storm to ever hit Canada in recorded history. And breaking news, kind of breaking news. It happened very fast right before we started to come on. I got a Defender of Ants. Supposedly, this comes from Just a Lazy Gamer. Warrants for Defender of Ants. So go there and watch the Just a Lazy Gamer feed for that. And one last final quick thing. Speaking of Defender of Ants, and Anarchy Princess, we're doing some citizen journalism today, and Anarchy Princess caught a quick interview with this gentleman right here. That's all I'm going to say about it. Go to her stream and watch the stream. Many of you may know who this is. Some people have alleged that he might have knowledge of what happened with the bomb that was placed in front of Republican headquarters and the bomb that was placed in front of Democrat headquarters January 6th. That is, as always, allegedly. All right. So I got everything covered, and I did it in a little over 20 minutes. I'm sorry. I wanted to keep it at 20 minutes because now we are going to bring up Freedom Ninja. Again, everybody in the chat, kind of self-monitor. If there's somebody saying stuff you don't like, just block them. So you don't have to hear them. And if other people want to hear them, they can. That's kind of how freedom of speech should work. If it gets out of control, we got mods that'll smack a hammer with no problem. No, Ellie, yes, let's be really clear with that. Lazy Gamer is not confirming anything, neither are we. It's become a rather big thing, so you kind of got to touch on it. But I'm not, I'm directing you to Lazy Gamer, and he has nothing to confirm, deny anything. He's doing the same thing. He's just reporting on it. And that's what we've always done here on this show. And that's what we'll keep doing. You know, if something does happen from this, we'll report on it. Hello, Mind Bender, Choding, BTM Sparky, Hellraiser. Hello to everybody out there, and hello to Freedom Ninja. Hello. There you go. We got you. Okay. All right. First of all, we are confirming that you are not Freedom Squirrel.
Not Freedom Squirrel. No, I'm not. It's confirmed.
Yes, it is confirmed. Thank you for coming on here.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, are you Freedom Ninja's or are you Freedom Squirrel's sister?
So I'm her convoy sister. And for this interview, I'll clarify talking about family if it's relative or if it's a convoy family member, just so things don't get confusing. But she's
okay.
My convoy sister.
All right. That's all the questions I got. Thanks for coming on. I'm kidding. Sure. I'm just kidding. Let's get started. When did you join the convoy? Talk about your history with the convoy. As much as you feel comfortable talking about.
Well, so I joined the convoy when after the Canadian trucker convoy happened. You know, I'm up north, I'm border. So when the truckers started in Canada, it was, and I was having like my own issues with my own family. My daughter having problems regarding.
That's all right.
Masks, you know, we kind of got to where we had a choice here, and they joined it when the American convoy started. You can either join a convoy or you could go on. That was your way of, you know, protesting. And I was doing home time, but my client had passed away, and I've been in the healthcare system since 2006. I was in nursing homes, but after that, it was too painful to like continue that kind of work. So I wanted to take a break. I had her first, and she had passed, so I didn't have a job at the time, so I couldn't stress. So I said, well, I'm gonna jump on the convoy, and that's what I did. And I went to Hagerstown. I was literally, it was like a Thursday night. It was the very first party. It was a really wild experience because it was very quiet. And I remember I had Facebook, but I was so amazed by everything going on. I actually like reactivated Facebook Live, and I started like taking a video. I was like, wow, this is like crazy. It was like, so it was really super cool. So I started right from the very, very beginning, and convoy's been a little bit rocky, you know, ever since basically when we had to make a choice of whether we wanted to go to 1776 or whether to go with the American Freedom Convoy. But whatever, I really gravitated toward a specific group of people, and they became family to me. Spent a lot of time together. The squirrels. It's funny because Freedom Squirrel and I, we didn't really even talk to each other a lot. We just kind of didn't even have a lot of communication. But then whenever we did start communication, we just clicked. I mean, she's my sister. Like we watched out for each other. I mean, when the incident happened with Big D punching Paul, she called me, and I ran over there because she was getting ganked. So we've had a lot of close personal experiences together. I would consider them family. And I would consider Lori my family. Lori, that's really why I wanted to come on here, is because I spent a lot of that was the first time I met Hippie Mama, because there was an incident where it went missing, and she was like so upset. She couldn't find her wallet away with my convoy mom in her RV, and Lori was live. She was up there somewhere, but I mean, we had a blast together. It was so much fun, but her wallet went missing, and she wanted to go home. We went to the help tent, and that was the first time I met Hippie Mama, where she snapped at me. She's like, "What are you doing here?" And I'm like, well, I'm here to help my friend, because Hippie Mom was like, "Well, that's what we're here for. We're here to help people." She's just really nasty. And I was like, "Well, I'm here for help, you know, like it was just, she was probably out. I don't know. But we ended up finding Lori's wallet. If we didn't find Lori's wallet, I was going to help her get home. I always would. And then when it came to a point where I brought my daughter on the convoy every night, and, you know, she stayed with me in the hotel. Wasn't in the hotel. She was with my convoy mom in the RV. And we looked out for each other. We're all there for each other through all the storms, through all the craziness. I mean, we were, you know, I guess the difference was the level of communication that we had. There was a level of communication that I had with the squirrels that she would not really, if she found, she wouldn't like let somebody know. So whenever we were staying convoy mom in the RV, we didn't know whether we should lock up at night, or whether sometimes when she just wouldn't show up. And whenever Lori did show up, "Hey guys, I'm home," she'd come in with her, you know, thing, or her little, she'd lay it down, and, you know, like, we provided a safe place for her to stay. We always did. It was clear that we felt kind of taken advantage of, but what pushed me to the edge is, you know, when I brought my daughter on, and she stayed with my daughter a lot. They spent a lot of time together, and going through some issues. Like, I sent her to the Waldorf school. Work out very well. She got expelled, and I homeschooled her. And I loved homeschooling. It wasn't working out. So I brought, and Lori started talking to her, and then kind of being a mediator between a bad relationship. We weren't fighting or anything, but I was not accepting of my daughter, because she identified as a bird, and she wanted me to address her as a man. And she's 14. Okay. That was happening to her. It was, and I wasn't going to accept it. And so Lori was, at first I thought she was a big help with that. She would talk to me and tell me I need to accept who she wants to be, and I need to, you know, start calling her bird like she wants. And we just had to agree to disagree. It just wasn't. It wasn't pretty. When I had my daughter on the convoy, it just, you know, a short time, she wanted to dig herself into her electronics. She didn't want to come down. And while they were taken off to California, my goal was to, once we got to Texas, get her down to where I needed to get her, and then jump back in with the convoy, get her down to Texas, because it wasn't working. It didn't seem like a good environment for her. I left the convoy or whatever. And you know, there's a few things, this whole listening to her. I'm so glad I never listened to her. Texas, like, doesn't identify as a man or a bird. Like, she's fine, she's good. But her incident that we had was with Big D. Like every morning, I would go to the morning meetings, and Big D was there, and he was always reeking of all over me. Every morning he'd come, can I stand with you? And I'm like, yeah, sure. It was really creepy, but you know, it got to the point where I would wait for morning meetings to start and go from on a different stand somewhere else, so that I wouldn't have to worry about him coming, you know, just wanting to stand by me. And I tried talking to Lori about that, and she called me crazy. Anybody, you know, she stuck up for him a lot. And two major things that happened that really bother me about what's going on, because I've been trying to get a hold of her for as far back as before they were doing the homeless people taking the packages together. You know, I've been texting her, telling her, hey, I have someone who took my daughter down to Texas. I have all this winter gear. If y'all want it, you people, well, it's getting cold. You know, maybe they might need some of this stuff. She didn't answer me. She went hold of her. And then all of a sudden, you know, I find your show, and one random email, she starts throwing me the middle finger. And I'm like, what's going on? Because everything was fine. We already had our discussion about the squirrels, and she didn't want anything to do with them. And I told her I was sorry that she felt that way, but they were still going to communicate with them, but that I still loved her. I've always looked out for her. I've always cared about her. I've always wanted the best for her. And when my messages in her chat started disappearing, I didn't understand why. I used to be a mod for Lori. One day I just wasn't. And I didn't even say anything, because honestly, I really don't care. If you don't want me to, I don't have to look out for you. I don't have to if you don't want me to. That's okay. That's for me to do. You know, but
okay.
then.
Hold on just a second. So you're part of the mod, the rogue mod, all of that as well?
It's so confusing. It's so
okay,
confusing.
hold on. I just want everybody to know, especially the people in chat at the moment, that
the chat me.
that can you see chat? Because I don't watch it. I get caught up in talking, and I
at a point that I was not going to watch the chat on this
interview, all right,
because interfere with my feelings.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
All liars.
I just want them to know that we didn't talk about what we're going to talk about here.
No,
you just reached out and said, I got some things. I've been quiet too long. I got some things I want to get off. I want to get out. Okay. Just so everybody knows, I had no idea. I thought I had seen you as a mod for the squirrels,
yes,
but I didn't know you had been Lori's mod too. So
I worked a period of time, and then one day I just wasn't, and I didn't even. I don't know why. I don't know why. I didn't even ask her why I all of a sudden wasn't a mod. It brings me to a quick point, because I've been called a JJ, a double A general princess. I'm none of those things. I'm not either of any of those people. Like, okay, and the only reason I changed it to Freedom Ninja is because my name more obvious, I guess, and this is before I wanted to just make it easier for them to read my name in the chat. That's the only reason I changed name, and I didn't even give myself the name Freedom Ninja. That was given to me busting out hula hoops and nunchucks and playing with the kids on the convoy and teaching themselves, you know, whenever you become a black belt, part of the way to training is I felt very comfortable. A lot of those kids they just needed something to do. They weren't bad kids. Action. So, you know, I talk about caring about the kids. I was always was always, but no, we never, we never talked about this interview. A long time, and I'm sick of it because I've put my heart and soul into some of these. Why, I all of a sudden just was taken away from that. It's like, Lori's really the one that upsets me the most because I felt that we had a relationship and I've cared for her a lot, and whatever's happening to her at the first time that I got timed out, I guess, was whenever she was having a chat about RVs or something like that, and then she wasn't acknowledging me, and I would have known that I was, why are Ninja's messages getting deleted? And then I got a message that said you've been sure, or no, by the owner. And I thought to myself, that's weird. So I texted, so you know, I'm not trying to start anything, but I want you to know that somebody apparently put me in touch. Yeah, and it was funny because I felt like I was like put in the corner, like a high schooler or something. No, and it said it was done by the owner, and she acknowledged me in her live stream. She said, "Chelsea, sorry, I'll take care of it." And like that, you know, so we squashed it. It was cool. And then all of a sudden, she just started ignoring my texts. I was blocked from her chats, and then she shows up giving me the middle finger, calling me these crazy names. Like, I cannot believe the names that she's called me. It's unbelievable. I would have never ever suspected her to treat me that. The experiences we've had, like, you know, I went through my phases. I was very angry, pretty hurt, or pretty angry. I was pretty angry. Then I was pretty hurt. Now I'm to the point where I don't care that much because it's taught me that you know, I need to sink so much of my time into people who don't give a shit about me. And maybe it may, I don't know, but I've been watching her, and you know, body language. So if you ever look at some of these live streams and you watch them without the sound, at their body language. And with Lori, started out being a silent protest, and then, you know, she met Ant and AP, and she started, you know, I was literally earlier, I was watching one of her videos, and she was talking about veteran suicide. She was smiling when she was talking about it, and it doesn't make me think she's happy about suicide or anything. I don't think that she thinks it's a good thing. It's almost like, I wonder if she was like looking at how many people were watching her, because that she's got now and all these subscribers, and, you know, people are watching her, and she's getting crazier, and I don't even know if she knows what's going on. That she was going to actually message me back, text messages, whatever, call your proud boy, and I'm going to tell him what's up. And no, I was not going to. I'm going to talk to Eddie, but I'm not gonna say, oh, loose legs this or loose legs, to know that she might have somebody who's either that or it's karma. Because, you know, when we were on the convoy, I felt like she took advantage of a lot. That you interviewed somebody just the other day, and they said that you know, the reason Lori well is because, you know, Ant went first, and he was able to get all that stuff out. It was easy for them to go after Lori because he gave them everything that they needed. I'm not saying Ant set her up, but his court case, as a result of that, is what now. And now, you know, is that karma?
Wait a minute. Whoa. Hold on just a second. People are saying that Ant set Lori up. Is that what people are saying?
No, I'm wondering.
Okay.
No. So the other, I think it was like just or something. Somebody you interviewed.
Yeah. Yeah.
He,
Yeah,
he
he said that in his opinion, um, by Ant going first, he showed 1776 everything they did wrong, so they did it right against Lori. It wasn't that
right.
Ant said it. Okay,
No,
yeah,
that's,
all right. Ant's
I'm
got
not
enough. Defender Vance has got enough stuff
no, I'm
tossed
not
at him. You know, we don't want anything incorrect out there. Okay, go ahead.
I wonder if this could possibly Dharma, because nobody was looking out for her. Nobody, once people were looking out for her, then I look at where she is right now. Nobody was looking out for her.
You mean the day of the hearing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Percent of communication is body language, and it was great in relief. First case taken care of, and then it all just went to shit whenever Lori had to go. She was thrown into the gauntlet. That's how I feel watching everything. That's how I feel, because she had, and she wasn't knowledgeable. Ant is a smart guy. He knows what he's doing. He can go to for. Lori was scared. She didn't even want to go. She was terrified. Like, I felt so bad for her. She's if she doesn't get the right people behind her, she's gonna keep getting herself. Really is, and I don't know who's guiding her or help not doing a good enough job.
Okay. All right.
They're not.
I've got a couple of questions. Do you have anything else you want to get out?
Yeah. I just want to say that I'm not a bad mom. I'm a really good mom, Lori. I really am a good mom. Glad that I didn't listen to any of your advice, because if I did, I don't know how messed up I decided to go with my feelings on what I needed to do and not accept that behavior. I regret telling you about Big D being a bad guy. I wish that you would have listened to you. And that's all I have to say about that.
Okay. All right. Looking back, do you think do you think 1776 is a cult?
Oh, I know it's a cult. I was
Okay.
with a few days, and the reason we left was because there were days of zip tie Billy stalking my truck. He used to go back and forth with his gun to the point where I would put a water bottle on my floor, and whenever he would start doing his pacing, I would go bolt to my water bottle to break so that he would stop pacing back and forth. And then Big D used to block my truck in, so that I have pictures of it. He used to block my truck in whenever I would park it, so that I go. And then whenever I would stay in Mom's RV, when we were in that parking lot at that Rings place or whatever with all the flags, lock my truck in so that I couldn't get out. And then Black Cars Matter would be right there parked. Like, they were like trying to intimidate me, and it never worked. Y'all don't fucking scare me.
Okay. Were you say they all don't scare you? Was there ever a time when you were on the convoy that you were scared?
Yeah. It was right before, it was the day of, whenever there was that revolt at town at the Speedway. That revolt, when everybody surrounded the buses and everything, like, that was a scary thing. And that was also the same day that Zip Tie Billy came up to me and a gun. And I'm not going to say what he said, because I
Yeah.
That guy's crazy. He's absolutely insane. I don't fuel his fire, but he did confront us with a gun. And then later on that never we had to choose where to go, and we ended up in a IHOP parking lot or whatever. I was a little bit afraid whenever everybody was revolting and everything. I didn't know what to expect, but yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you for coming on here.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Okay. I imagine after everything that's been said, there are going to be people wanting to come on and give their side. So we may have to have you back. Will you come back on Freedom Ninja if necessary? Would you consider doing that?
Yes.
Awesome. All right. Thank you very much. Have a great rest of your night. And anytime you want to come on, all you got to do is email. All right.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night. Hold on here. Oh, there we go. All right. That was Freedom Ninja. Again, I haven't been in the chat. Okay. I knew this was going to, as it was unfolding, I knew this was going to become very controversial. And anybody, the Sparky, the sound was a little choppy. I'm just, this just keeps getting more. It's like Defender Vance said in one of his streams at one point, it's like you're peeling back. I think he said it's like you're peeling back layers of onions, and it's like there's this big puzzle, and a lot of people have different pieces, and as the pieces come out, some things fit together, some things don't. Tap your heels 3 times. Defender of ants. If is Lori in here? Does Lori want to come up? I'm not sure who's in here that was mentioned. If somebody is in here that was mentioned, come up. I think kind of chat is on its own. It's they're chatting amongst themselves, which is fine. So while I'm gonna extend the show here just a little bit, and I'm gonna play a couple of things that that I was going to play earlier. I mentioned I asked Freedom Ninja if she thought that that it was a cult, and oh great, it refreshed on me. Well, never mind. Okay, there we go. Get through ads, and it's I found this last night from the History Channel, and this is one of the reasons I read the disclaimer at the front. I'm hoping that they don't that they understand I'm using this to show people and not using it as a not trying to rip off the History Channel, using it as a tool to give information that people might not otherwise get. And let me bring this up. keep chatting away. Thank you all again for watching this. And here we go. Again, this is from a series called Nostradamus Effect and the cataclysmic end of human history. And here's one of the sections. So, if indeed there is a cult going on, those are extreme examples, obviously, but some people aren't even familiar with those examples. And it just shows the potential danger of misassociation, and we're just giving you something to think about. A lot of people weren't alive when World War II was going on that are alive now. Very few people that experienced World War II are still with us. So a lot of people don't know what happened in World War II unless they had a good educational background. And one of the things I've been learning is that a lot of people haven't had a good educational background. So this is from TED Ed, the TED series, the TED Talk series, and actually, I'm not going to play it. I'm just referencing it. It's only a few minutes long. I think it's 5 minutes long. 5 minutes 36 seconds actually. How did Hitler rise to power? And I'm just going to leave words up here for just a minute because this is how it was done. He utilized fear, anger, bigotry, and anything but facts. All right, and that's just something to think about. Cancel culture, hashtag Hitler. I bet this was an interesting chat. I'm going to have to go back and read through this. I have a feeling. We're coming up on the 1 hour mark, and that's where I kind of like to keep the shows because a lot of people watch the next day since we are late night America. People watch during their lunch hour or when they're getting ready for work or whatever. And we thank you. Thank all of you. Thank everybody in the chat. Right at the moment, Faye Allen, Mater, Christine, Oomph, BTM Sparky, Iran. Oh, BTM Sparky, yes. I did not touch on Iran, but the tensions between Iran and Israel are only mounting as the government of Israel is kind of extending a olive branch, if you will, to Palestine, saying, let's negotiate a lasting two-state solution to the country, to the nation that is considered Israel, with Palestine territories within it. And a lot is going on in our world, a lot. And the better we are all going to be better off the more able we are to get along with each other. And the way to do that is through acceptance, that the fact that there are differences, there are huge differences within our very unique mosaic of a culture that makes us America. Now, there are some that let me bring that back up. There are some that are dominated by fear, by anger, by bigotry, because fear leads to anger, and anger leads to hate, and you got to hate somebody, and you're going to hate somebody different than you. That's the easiest to hate, and you're going to dehumanize them, and you're going to make it easier to hate them even more. Think about if that's happened to you. Think about if that's happened to you, and you weren't like that 5 years ago. Why are you like that now? If you only watch one thing, if you only look one way, you're only seeing one thing. And if you're only seeing one thing, you're not controlling what you think somebody else is. So there's an old song lyric: free your mind and the rest will follow. Don't be afraid to look away from what you may consider comfortable. If you've watched nothing but Fox News, Fox News is controlling what you think. And what if they're leading you astray? You don't want to go astray. Something to think about to end the night. Thank you all for watching. We will be back tomorrow night at midnight, same time. And we'll be doing it live. I've got one potential guest. If you want to come on, especially if you want to come on, especially if you have something, I mean, no matter what you have to say, this is a place you can come on and say it. We may not necessarily agree with what you say, but we're going to acknowledge your right to say it, as long as it's not, absolutely batcrap crazy. So thank you for watching. Be back tomorrow night at midnight. Until then, this has been Late Night America on the American Doofus channel. I do want to thank Freedom Ninja for coming on. I want to thank Defender of Ants for coming on. I want to thank Just Here for coming on. I want to thank Celtic Mutt for coming on. Freedom Squirrel, Red Squirrel, Lori. I'm sure I'm Telescope, of course. And we had Jersey J and Jersey Jen on for just like 3 or 4 seconds once when one of the times the squirrels was on. So I want to thank everybody that has been a guest on the show, especially here lately, and for being willing to share, the stress that people are under that are in those conditions, and the stress that people in the chats find themselves under as the people they care about are in precarious situations. All that's real. And we need to all remember to step back and decompress at some time, just because things can get really intense. And it just feels like we might be at one of those points where things are really intense. And let's hope nothing happens, nothing happens to anybody. And I mean anybody, because it just feels like we are indeed in potentially perilous times as a nation, as the human race, as the world. And it'd be a good time for a bunch of positive vibes. Just something to think about. It's a dark